Hey guys, what's up? It's the Merc here from Full Shed Games, and this is the first video I've made in quite a while. I'm not gonna go through the whole spiel because I've said it before, but what I will say is, this being my last semester senior year of college, graduation being about 2 months away now, things have been a lot crazier than I anticipated them to be, so that's kind of what's piled up to keep me from making the videos I want to make. That and the simple fact that I haven't gotten a lot of gaming in. I haven't played anything, I think, in almost a month or month and a half now. That's weird. I usually play a lot more than that, but just haven't had a chance, especially with winter, because as you can see, I'm in the office, and the office is heated, but it's kind of half-assed, and we still need to finish it, so we have that to kind of deal with. School, we haven't really gotten much gaming in. We played Dreadball a couple of times. We got together off of campus with a buddy of mine, and we played a game called Dominion, which was definitely a cool game. I would consider picking it up at some point. It's a card-based game. It's a deck-building game. So it's kind of like playing a collectible card game, but everyone has access to the same cards. So it's more strategy-based than pay-to-win based. And anybody out there that watches this that enjoys Magic, sorry if I offended you, it's just that was always my experience with Magic, unless you were playing with a group of friends that had an understanding of how they wanted to play the game. Because I used to play Magic pretty heavy. I played in tournaments, I played in booster drafts. I liked booster drafts because, again, everybody was kind of on equal footing. Tournaments, not so much. But it's just one of those things. So, what's coming up? What's going on? My buddy Dom and I have been talking a lot about Kings of War. We miss playing a massed fantasy battle game, which we used to have in Warhammer Fantasy, but then things happened. I personally fell out of love with Games Workshop and their products. He hates the new Age of Sigmar, which I don't necessarily hate Age of Sigmar. I would give it a try, but the price is so prohibitive that I just can't see getting into it. I mean, when you have a unit of 3 guys that's $100 and some, no, I can't see doing it. For like, if you're going to charge me $100 and some, give me something the size of a Colossal or a Gargant from War Machine. Give me something like that. Give me something big to put on the table. And that's kind of a problem I've had with Games Workshop for a while now, and it's only gotten worse. And you can see plenty about their pricing on the internet. I don't need to go into that too much. So we've been talking about Kings of War, and I'm going to do another video kind of separately on that and my ideas and thoughts about it. But overall, I'm kind of excited about that. Of course, we're still playing Dystopian Wars, mostly the naval battles. We haven't played a land battle in quite some time. I think it's just because it's easier to play the naval battles because we all have fleets. Most of us have at least one painted fleet for that, even me. So it looks better when we play, but we'll probably play some land battles here soon too. I need to get painting, which once here in Pennsylvania, we're kind of in, well, it's spring-ish. And what that means is it's going to be wet and damp for like the next month or so. And that means I can sit down and paint the stuff I already have undercoated, but to undercoat any new stuff is going to be hard because to find a good day to spray paint will be challenging. When it comes to painting, things I want to do, I really need to finish painting my Terran Alliance like ground forces for Planetfall. I need to finish my Covenant of Antarctica fleet. And I need to decide if I am going to finish painting my Federated States of America fleet to get rid of it or not. I've decided I'm not keeping it. I don't have a lot of fun playing it anymore, so I can't see a reason to keep it really. But I started painting it. I like the paint scheme, and I think it's probably more desirable to someone if it's already painted. You don't have to put the work into that, so I'm going to probably at least try to finish it. And that will leave me with only 2 fleets for Dystopian Wars, which will be my Russians and my Antarcticans. And that'll probably be the case until they release something new. I know there's talk of doing like the Socialist States of South America, the Socialist Union of South America, I think. There's been talk of Egyptians, of an African-type fleet. Any of that stuff would be fantastic, and I would think about doing it. But right now, I have the 2 fleets I really want. And they're both basically done. I want to pick up the new robots, because I know some people hate them. I think they're cool, especially the Russian and the Antarctic one. I think they're both, nice-looking models. And that's basically finished the fleets for me. And then I can just pick up the little things that Spartan puts out for them as it goes. At some point, I want to work on painting my Terran and my Ceruleans for Firestorm Armada. I have 2 pretty good sized fleets for them. I want to pick up some of the new stuff that came out, like Task Force. I want to see what that's all about. So basically, Spartans are doing some things that are pretty interesting. They put out the final Helix for all the core factions in Planetfall, which was the Assault Helix. They put out Firestorm Task Force, which I don't think anybody was expecting, but now that it's here, I've been hearing some pretty good things about it. It's supposedly ships from Firestorm Armada will be compatible with that, and the ships from Task Force will be compatible with Armada. So you can use the ships in either game. Task Force, I believe, is supposed to be more streamlined, quicker to play, whereas Armada is kind of like most Spartan games, a little slower to play. There's more maneuvering and intricacy to it, which I don't mind. I've never had a problem. Me and the gaming group can sit down and we can play a game of like Dystopian Wars or Firestorm Armada in a night, which is 2 to 3 hours. I've never had a problem. I know some people say it's too long. I've never had that problem. Other games that are still on the horizon, still looking at Beyond the Gates of Antares. It looks like a very interesting sci-fi game, and it's really kind of what I'm interested in. I really would like a 28mm sci-fi game. Another game I'm thinking about looking into is Dead Zone, which is the squad skirmish-based game of Manic for their sci-fi range. I'm also kind of waiting because they had a Kickstarter for Warpath, which is their sci-fi 28mm war game. And I'm kind of waiting for that to be officially released, because I'd like to get the rules for it and look it over, because I really like some of the factions that Manic has done in their game. So those are 2 games that are on the radar. I saw that This Is Not a Test, which is a super awesome looking indie game. It's kind of like Necromunda, but based in the radioactive nuclear wasteland, is on Kickstarter to get a hardback rulebook, which is super exciting for me because up until this point, you could only get a PDF version of the rulebook, and I much prefer have a hardback copy. So I might actually jump in on the Kickstarter. If I do, it'll be the first Kickstarter I've ever kind of done. But I think it'd be worth it because the game looks really fun. Ash and the guys over on the Miniatures Co-op have played it a lot. And I think it'd be good because you can use basically any miniatures you have or want for it. That's really all the games. Frostgrave is a game we've talked about as well. The only thing with that is it's going to require a lot of scenery, a lot of different type of scenery than what we have, because when you play Warhammer Fantasy, like back in the day, you needed some forests, maybe a house, some hills. For Frostgrave, you need to fill a table with terrain. And not just like hills and forests, but you want ruined towers and walkways and walls and buildings. And we just don't have that kind of terrain at the moment. So I don't know if we'll do that or not. If we do, I'll try to cover it for you. One last thing that I wanted to put out there, and I noticed looking through the videos on the channel, the videos that we did that got the most views were our battle reports, the Dystopian Wars battle reports we put out, which was like 2 or 3. I really would like to start doing that again, but at the current time I don't have an opponent to sit down and play out a battle report with. So I'm hoping maybe over the summer, Dom from Dragon Studios and I can get together a couple times and do some battle reports for you guys, because I'd really like to do some more of those. They're a lot of fun. Or if I can find another opponent that has free time here around me that wants to play Dystopian Wars and wants to do battle reports, that would be great too. Because right now, aside from my Friday night gaming group, I have no one to game with here at home. So that's it for kind of like that idea. I really miss doing it, and I know you guys enjoyed it. And hopefully, I'll be able to do it again for you at some point. Another thing I've been thinking about doing is I have to get a squadron of cruisers painted up for my Antarcticans. But when I do, I want to do a how to play series, which would just be me, and I'll take a small force for my Russians, a small force for my Antarcticans, and kind of just run through the game to give you guys an idea of how it plays. So if you've never played Dystopian Wars before, it'll give you an idea of what the game is like. I think that'll be fun. I think it'd be a good thing to do, because I don't know if people are very familiar with it. But that's an idea. I've had that idea for that and a couple of other games, but I think Dystopian Wars would be the easiest one to do. I'll do it. I'll kind of gauge feedback. So yeah. The only other thing is, I know I've mentioned it a couple times before, I'm still working on a game, and it's slowly taking shape. I found someone to work on it with. He's a longtime friend of mine, and he's terrific with ideas. So, and he's also played RPGs since high school, or if not before. So he has the mindset for it. And yes, it is kind of turning into an RPG, which I just think is easier to put out than a miniatures game, because to do a miniatures game, you really kind of have to have your own miniatures. And I am nowhere at that point where I can do that. Like, I don't even have a 3D printer. If I did, I would think about it. But the game is taking shape. We are kind of putting together the structure of how characters work, combat, those kind of things. I have been working on ideas for background and setting, so hopefully in the next couple of months I'm actually going to be able to get to play test this game and see if it'll work, see what kind of things I need to do for it, and see about getting it off the ground. So that'll be interesting, and as it kind of progresses, I'll sit down and talk about it a little bit here and there. But that's basically it for this video. Kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up, let you know that we're still going. I haven't quit. I haven't dropped out of the hobby. Just haven't had a lot of time to game. And this is spring break for me, so I have some time to get up here to make videos, to read over rule books, to think about doing some painting. And it's nice. But that's going to do it for me. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Hopefully you're still with us. And I'll see you next time here at Bullshit Games.